Hey there, everyone. This is Mystic Fish, and welcome to episode 10 of our Factorio series on designing an expandable base. I thought what we would do is take a little break from designing blueprints this time around to give people a little taste of how I think this base is going to get laid out. So I've seen a number of comments that say, hey, I can't wait for the actual playthrough. We're doing like a bunch of blueprint designs, but I really can't wait to get to the playthrough. And I will say, like, I can't wait to get there either. Like, I think it's actually going to be a lot of fun. Most of my playthroughs, I don't actually do a lot of blueprint design up front. I tend to develop the blueprints and planning while I'm playing. If you've seen some of my other series, you may see that has worked that way. And so I'm actually looking forward to doing a playthrough that has blueprints ready to go up front. I think it's going to be an interesting and relaxing experience, hopefully, if we've done a good job on design. But I think because we're doing a lot of design, just to give people a taste of where we're going, so maybe give us a little more patience to do the rest of the design, I thought we would take a little break and do some, just an indication of how I think this base is going to get laid out. And so I want to do that. Let's see. It looks like it's getting dark here. So I'm gonna use a console command. So the console, if you've never seen it, you can open it with the back tick or backwards apostrophe, depending on how you might refer to it. You can hit this command, and then we can get some console commands. And they tend to be prefaced with /C in here to distinguish it from various types of chat. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this command in. I found this on the Factorio wiki. The Factorio wiki has a page of listing useful console commands. And so here I can set this variable to make it always be daytime. So I do that, and voila, we have daytime. So that'll just make it a little easier for us to see here on the videos that we're putting together now. I do want to note, if you use console commands, and they do give you a warning, some console commands will disable achievements. So you do want to be careful of that if you have an intent to go after certain achievements. Okay, let's open up the editor extensions, and let's get, I think what I want to do here is we're going to use constant combinators as a stand-in for representing various cells in the base, right? So we've made this grid cell, and so we can have a constant combinator represent one grid cell. Okay, so one of the things that we said when we were doing the first grid design is that the starting lake might span up to 4 grid cells, especially if the corner of the grid happened to land in the lake. That's not true of this one, right? All of its corners are outside the lake. So this one actually occupies 3 grid segments, which is this one has some lake in it, this one has some lake in it, and then this one has some lake in it. Not very much, but at least a little bit. So the first thing that we want to represent is that we may have our starting lake may take up 4 grid segments. And so I'm going to indicate that like this. Those will be the 4 adjacent grid segments that might be the lake. Okay, so then the next thing that we have is, where are the starting resources? So the starting resources in this case kind of extend down below here. I think they will end up being in maybe these four segments, and if they're not, I think we can pick a map that has that be true. So, but in the meantime, let's just mark that this way. These will be the starting resource patch. We'll call those with OR like this. So those might occupy those. Okay, then we are going to need a couple of things as we get started. So the first thing that we're going to need is we are going to want here some kind of jumpstart base. So I'm going to call this J for the jumpstart. And actually, maybe we can just, if we put an S in there, that makes jumpstart. Okay, great. So this is going to be one tile. I think we've talked about this a little bit. We haven't designed this yet, but the idea is we're going to make a very compact little base that will be enough to research the core technologies we need and produce the materials we need for building the rest of the base at first. So that is going to look like that. Okay, next to it, and also next to the water, we are also going to want the initial power plant, which I think we want to represent with steam engines. So we're going to have some number of steam engines. They obviously need water from the lake here. Okay, now that is all well and good. I do think that we are going to, I want to try to power this base with nuclear power. That is going to require a lot of space to build something that's expandable. So I think we're going to end up doing possibly, I haven't calculated this yet, but if we build a full long linear array of all of the nuclear reactors, then we'll have the heat exchangers and steam turbines sticking off the sides here, and that can actually make something that's pretty wide. So I'm going to mark it this way, which is, we'll just call the stuff in the middle here nuclear reactors, and we'll mark this as steam turbines for right now. And whoops, that's not what I wanted. I want to make you a steam turbine. Okay. Nope, I grabbed too much. And then this. And I don't know, we might need 2 tiles worth by the time we're done. I don't know. We haven't done the work yet on this, but I think the idea is that we want to extend in this direction as far as we need. We'll do some calculation and figure out how many reactors we're going to need for the size of the base that we're targeting. But the idea is we'll just build out this direction. We'll have to see if we can get enough offshore pumps into the starting lake to provide enough water for all of this stuff. In the event that we can't, I think what we'll end up doing is down along these rows here, these may be train stations that drop off water. So we may put those out here, and then we can bring the water in. So that way we can, if we have to build a water outpost or more than one water outpost, we can do that, and we can accommodate that in the base. So that will be okay. Then next to the nuclear stuff, we're going to need to do uranium processing stuff. And so I think, how do we want to do that? I guess we'll mark that with some uranium stuff here. And we haven't designed this one yet, but we will want a station here for dropping off uranium ore. So we will need a uranium outpost. Those work a little differently than the other ones we've designed so far, because we have to bring sulfuric acid out there and bring uranium ore back. But this way we can build this stuff relatively close. Okay, then generally down the sides here, what I think we will have is I think this is the height of the base. I mean, we may lay it out a different way depending on where the starting ore patch is with respect to the original lake. If the starting ore patches were like out here instead of down here, then we would just rotate this whole layout. But I think the idea is that what we want is we want some smelting up on this side. I think we generally want steel and iron smelting up on this side, primarily because in order to make the sulfuric acid, we need iron, and we also need iron for making the nuclear fuel cells. So having a source of iron that's kind of lined up with the uranium stuff, that makes a lot of sense. So we'll do iron and steel on this side, and we'll do copper smelting on this side. And then the idea is that lined up with each one of these, we will have stations for bringing in the iron ore on this side. I don't think we have everything laid out yet. We may have to scooch this stuff down. And then down on the south side of the base, if we flip it this way, I think this is where we'll bring the copper in. And we'll do copper smelting up on this side. Okay, and then we'll extend the base this direction to get in everything that we need here. Now, there are a few things that we are going to have to do in the middle here. So part of the idea here is somewhere in here, I think we're going to want a couple of things. One is we need an area for labs, for actually doing the science. I think that will fit in one grid cell. So we'll put that in the middle here. And the idea is we'll produce the science down this direction and we'll send it this way towards the labs. The other things that we're going to need in here are going to be, we are going to need a mall. So some kind of mall, which, what do we want to do for that? How about an M for mall? So we want something that will produce all the materials that we need down here. I do think, and we'll have to see if we have enough space for everything that we need in here. We're also going to need at least one grid that is producing modules. So I'll just mark that like this. So a big part in upgrading the base is going to be producing beacons and modules. We absolutely want some infrastructure dedicated specifically to that. So we can build that stuff here in the middle. And so the idea is that after we get the jumpstart base, we should be able to plunk down, we'll have to go get copper and iron outposts and maybe some, well, we'll have to figure out where stone and coal are coming into this at some point. But we'll fill those out, and then that will be enough for us to build a mall, and then from there we'll be able to build everything else that we need for the rest of the base. Okay, so then moving this direction, I think that this is where we start to get the sciences. So I suspect we'll be able to get red and green squeezed in together. Possibly even, maybe this will be military science. I think we'll have to do the science designs to figure out how this works. Then I think we'll do, we'll have blue. We may find that, we do, I think we'll probably design yellow first. It's actually, I think, more important for us to get logistics bots for the rest of the base than doing purple science. I think we may find that we need 2 grids. I don't know if we'll need 1 or 2 grid cells for these. We have to do these designs. But just in case, because the builds for these get progressively bigger as we go, because the production chains are more complex. And so we may just need all of these things to cover everything. And then obviously we'll need in order to do the mega base and have something to do, we'll also need space science here as well. And so we will, I think, just continue. We may find that we do something like this. It is possible that we also do this and this, something like that. And okay, so now what else do we need? So we do need, there's a few things that we have to figure out where to bring in. So one is we need some place to bring oil in. We definitely need some place to bring stone in. Stone. And we'll need some place to bring coal in. And so and then one other thing that we want is I want to make a builder train eventually. So I do want to build a train that can stock all the materials we need for making an outpost. As we scale up the base, one of the biggest activities is going to be making outposts. And so I do think that we are going to need some of that stuff in here. And so that could be there. I think this will be easier to set up once we have logistic spots. It's a lot easier to populate the train with logistic spots. In the meantime, I think we can use personal logistics in our inventory. All right, we can, sorry, we're in the editor, but we will get logistic spots even, I think, in the Jumpstart base, and then we'll be basically the builder train. So we'll just make sure our inventory is filled with the stuff that would have been on the builder train. We'll take it out there, we can dump it in, we can bring construction bots, drop off the materials, and then the construction bots can finish making the outpost. So I think that's how that will work initially. Okay, we definitely need we definitely need some more room here, so we may end up sliding this stuff. I need to cut this. Cut. 1, 2. So we need to slide this down. I do think that we want this one closer to the mall, maybe. But then we are going to need oil coming in. This is going to be, I guess we'll call it a train stop with oil. That takes care of that one. We will need, already did this one. We need a train stop with coal and a train stop with stone. And actually, let's switch these, because this way we can bring the coal in, and that can be in the initial feeding of the smelting fuel. Then that means that we can add smelting for stone here. So these will make stone bricks. That should be fine. We probably only need one of those. So those will feed in fine there. And then that takes care of these. I think we don't need more than this. I don't know. Let's take a quick look. So I've made a factory planner here, and I've put our 1350 items per minute in here to see what the raw materials look like. And so if we do that in terms of belts, okay, so we need, oh, excuse me. We obviously need lots of copper, lots of iron, and but less than 8 belts worth of coal and stone, which means we only need 1 unloading station for these two. Looks like we'll need 4 for iron and at least 3, but probably round up to 4. So we'll probably, and actually by the time we get to using them all, we may need 5 or 6 of these, and maybe 4 or 5 of these. So how many do we have? All right, so we've got plenty of room for the smelting of this stuff out here. So I think this will work out to be okay. It does. Is this what we want? Maybe this works out okay. It could be that we can switch this down here. Get rid of this one. I'm trying to see if we can like compactify this stuff. Oh no, so I don't want to do that. The other thing that I do want is, I think we'll use some oil at first to make solid fuel to replace our coal for doing this stuff. So I think this will look this way. Now there's a lot of open space in here, so the question is, can we usefully compactify this stuff? And I bet we can. I bet we can, because we can slide this one down here. And then we can slide these here. That lines the builder train up. And we can slide these down and this down. And then we can slide these down there. And then it sure looks like we can, oh, we need this guy. So, okay, fine. But we definitely don't need this many copper. So I think this is okay. Would we rather do this? We'll need the mall before this. And actually, yeah, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll slide these over so they can be even with the mall, because the mall will need it. And then we'll put the builder train under the labs, because the labs won't, the only inputs the labs will need will be the science stuff that's coming down from the other end. Okay, good. I think this is going to cover it. We probably will end up not needing this at all, but this is going to be the idea. This is how we're going to proceed with building the base. So this should hopefully give you a little idea of where we're going with this. And so I'm going to make a little, I think I'll make a reference blueprint here. So we're going to call this the proposed base layout. And what do we want to do? I guess, you know what, is it confusing to give it the icon of, oh, I can't give it an icon of a blueprint. I guess that would be too recursive. So what do we have for doing a base layout? I don't know. I guess we'll just leave it with the constant combinators. That is fine. Okay, so we're going to create that blueprint. I'm going to put it up for reference, but this is what we're going to be working towards between now and getting to the end of the playthrough. And so just to highlight the things that are remaining, we've actually done a lot of this, right? We've got the basic components for smelting, including upgraded version of those. We have resource drop-off for fluid and for solids. We have not done any of the stuff in the middle here, so we have to do those next. And we have not done nuclear. We have a path to getting the water drop off if we need it. We haven't done the uranium processing bits or the uranium loading or unloading. So there's a few things we still have to do, but hopefully we can see where we're at and have an idea for where we're going. So I feel like we've made a pretty good progress against this base here, and so this is going to be the plan. I think we're going to work against this. If you know, I do think it's possible that we can compactify some of the sciences. I think we have to do the science designs before we can figure that out. We have some like extra space in here, but we'll try to keep it as compact as possible. But the idea is that our starting area, we can start our stuff immediately right around the starting lake where we're nice and compact. We'll move on to building a mall. We'll do our initial resource grabs of this stuff that still keeps things in the same general area without having to expand the initial base too far. And then once we've got outposts for all the major resources, then expanding the rest of it should be hopefully a much more straightforward proposition. And then from there out, we're just going to be upgrading stuff and building new outposts. So we'll see how this works, but that is the method behind the madness. So we will see how we do. But that's what we have for today. So as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Until then, bye.